Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you're watching. Let's get into 90-Day Fiance Love in Paradise, episode 4. What was it titled? The Club Can't Handle Me. How's everybody doing today? Sorry for the delay. It was hard getting myself together. It was hard getting everything together. I was tripping over garbage cans, tripping over cords. I couldn't get my lashes on, so I gave up on those. It's just one of those days. And I should ask, how was your weekend, by the way? Hey, Faux Minky Latte. I'm glad to hear it. You're good. Hey, Chris. And of course, I didn't put this one on the screen, but the first one in the house was Tony Man, who said he loved the music. Says it's dope and it fits me. Thank you. Someone says, like that shirt, and I'm doing well. It's a Tuesday, acting like a freaking Monday. It does feel like a Monday. I almost feel like I shouldn't have taken yesterday off because it made me more, I feel like it made me more tired. Let me get these images queued up to talk about this episode. We're going to start with Danielle and Yohan. Sorry, the images are not top quality. I was just taking pictures of my television with my phone this week. I was that lazy. but we'll get through this. So anyways, they go to this really beautiful river's edge because as her we'll say religious leader, because I don't want to call him a shaman or a priest because neither one of those titles fits. But he told her to go plant a banana tree near a river to try to keep this dude from having a wandering eye or being what do you call him? A womanizer. He threw those nuts and said, this dude was a womanizer, which she probably could have she could have had her palm read. She could have went and had a tarot card reader. She could have had a blind person with a hearing deficiency tell her this guy's a womanizer. I don't think that's something that I think everyone can kind of see that he's not that into her like he's pretending to be. But this area is really beautiful. Look at the little waterfall. And this picture doesn't do it justice to how green it looked. It was really, really beautiful. She says that since the fertility doctor gave her negative news, which, as I said last week, that is like going to a mechanic and asking if there's something wrong with your car. They're gonna find something wrong so they can make money. So she should have went to an OBGYN, and then if the OBGYN found an issue, they would have referred her to a fertility specialist. Anyways, she says that because she got negative news due to that she's going to ask the gods and goddesses for help, which I have no problem with, because people do that every Sunday. They just do it differently. She's putting fruit and water. Some of y'all put money in a collection plate. Either way, you're both practicing the same thing. They're both called offerings. She mentions Oshun and Yemaya, who are both Orishas. And I thought that was very interesting because Oshun, I'll tell you a little bit about Oshun. Oshun is also known as Oksum, and Ochun is a supreme being or Orisha of the Yoruba people, the largest ethnic group of southwestern Nigeria. Also called the river goddess, Oshun is commonly associated with fresh and sweet waters, love, purity, prosperity, fertility, and beauty. Oshun's symbols are honey, cinnamon, sunflowers, and oranges. Her sacred birds are peacocks and vultures, and her favorite colors are gold and amber. And it's very interesting that she chose that because, number one, like we just read, that she is a goddess of fertility, but Beyonce often channels Oshun imagery in her work, as you can see, because Oshun oftentimes is represented by, yellow, the color of honey, the color of amber. These are yellows. But the other Orisha that she mentions is Yemaya, and who is also Yoruba origin, which is West African. And her signs and symbols are Iliki beads, the number 7, the moon, cowrie shells, blue, the colors blue and white, and her other names are Yamoja, Yamaja, Yamalia, Yamala, Imanja. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that one right. I'm not 100% sure on that pronunciation. Mother of all Orishas, mother whose children are fish. And her attributes are she governs everything pertaining to women, particularly the birth and bearing of children, including childbirth, conception, parenting, child safety, love, and healing. And here's another interesting thing about Yamaya. She's often pictured as a mermaid. Tonyman says, I get confused. Is this the woman that loves his member? Yes, that's her. That's the one that's always, like, she has not said anything about his personality. Nothing about, he's, a caring person. He's a good conversationalist. We have a lot in common, because they don't have anything in common other than her fetishizing this dude. Like, it's crazy. But anyways, the goddesses that she's talking about have a very, very long history. They predate Christianity. I thought that was kind of beautiful. Later, they go out to, or I was going to say to dinner, but they didn't have any food, just drinks. And these are the smallest. I hope that's not beer in these little ass cups. That's not even fair to charge people for that. But she goes out with his friends and finds out that he has not told them that they're going to get married. And these are the three amigos. That's what I wanted to talk about. How old boy in the button-down shirt, the one that's buttoned all the way down to his navel, this one here in the middle with the beer in front of him, tried to cover for dude by saying that in Dominican Republic, they don't tell their friends they're getting married. They tell their family first, and then they tell their friends after. And my first thought was, ay, que mentiroso. Why did you tell that lie? I know you try to cover for your boy, but that is a complete and total lie. And y'all are so full of shit. That's the friend that's going to cover for him when he cheats on you, just so you know. Chris says, so she just wants D and a baby, pretty much, because she never says anything about him as a person other than talking about his D, and that is dehumanizing. She speaks to him as if he is just a walking, talking sex toy. She didn't even say, oh, he would make a good father. None of that. Just his D is big like this. That's all she ever says about this dude. And that does not make for a great relationship. Tommy says, then I think that the whole plant the banana thing was staged by the producers, being a phallic symbol and all. Could be. Danielle, Fomiki Latte says, Danielle compared giving offerings to goddesses to throwing a penny into a wishing well. I don't know to think of that. Yeah, I disagree with her making that comparison. That says to me that she picks up on these cultures, like what she's calling Ifa, but she doesn't connect to it really. I think she is one of those people that floats around things. Like I said in a previous stream, she's one of those people, she probably was huge into yoga for one point, and in another point, she's probably huge into something else. She gives me that type of person. It's a little flighty because she doesn't even connect to the fact that the Ifa that she's studying, she doesn't even ask him, a person that's in the Dominican Republic where some people do practice Yoruba and Santeria, and a lot of these things are connected. It doesn't even connect to her that his people might practice something similar, or that he might know people. She doesn't think to ask, and she doesn't think to ask because she doesn't study this. Sorry, whatchamacallit, Amazon Dots talking, but it says to me that she has a very surface level interest in these belief systems. She thinks she's doing it for play. That's what it's giving me. She's doing it for play, but she's not really studying it. Because if she really studied it, she would study the people, and she would know where those people are spread out across the world. But she's, like I said, she's flighty. And she has the nerve to be a history teacher. You have the nerve to be a history teacher and not know the history of oh, God, just the privilege of it all. If you know, you know. Carissa says, oh, hello to Fomiki Latte, and Fomiki Latte saying hello back. Okay, let me go back to, where did I leave off? I think that's about it for this couple. They didn't have a lot of screen time, but I mean, he's trying to get his green card, and I'm like, I know you think it's better over here, but I don't know. You got to really be in dire straits to still want to come here, or you still just don't know about America like that. And you should do your research before you come here, because you're gonna get a rude awakening. It's not what what you think it is. It's not what it is on TV. What you see on TV. It's not all, real. What is it called? Real Housewives and Love and Hip. No, that's all fairy tales and people pretending to be richer than what they are. Anyways, let's get into VaLentine and Carlos. Now this, the first thing that I thought about when watching them together is they're getting ready to go to the club. And VaLentine was making my gums bleed watching him brush his teeth, because he was brushing so hard. I never seen anyone brush so hard and so vigorously. But to his credit, maybe that's the right thing to do, because he does have a very brilliant smile. Like, his teeth are white. They're even. He's got a good set of teeth. So maybe I'm the one that's wrong, but I can't take brushing that hard. My gums would bleed. Your shirt looks like the dude in the middle. Was that planned? Hold on, let me go back a couple. No, not at all. I didn't notice. We're both colorful. Or maybe it left on a subconscious level. Seeing that made me pick out this shirt. I don't know. But it was not planned on purpose. So like I was saying, they're getting ready to go to the club, and they're going with Carlos's cousin. What was his name? I wrote it down. Yanner as Carlos's cousin, who came out to the family, and the family still is a little iffy with him, and that's why Carlos is still a little afraid to come out to his family. Although, when this airs, somebody's going to tell them that he was on television. As he said last week, where he is in Colombia is a more conservative area. And he says his country as a whole is more conservative. So even though they're going to a gay club, they're not able to fully let loose the way they could in a gay club in LA or New York. And the reason why I'm saying specifically those areas, because all of America is still not on the same page. There's a lot of conservative areas here that it wouldn't be safe for them to be themselves in, but there are different areas where they could, or at least they, now the way things are going and how sick people are acting in America, I wouldn't assume any place is all that safe. But anyways, they discuss this cultural difference, and it kind of doesn't matter because when I get to the club, VaLentine goes up on a stage. This is him getting it. And he's, you know, the life of the party. He actually had the party started because when we walked in, a lot of people were standing around and weren't dancing. And he started dancing by himself. And then he started pulling people onto the floor. And at one point, he pulled the bartender onto the floor to dance with Hanar. And they looked like they was having a good time at the moment. But I can identify with VaLentine because that used to be me. I don't need someone to get the party started for me. I remember one New Year's Eve when I was partying on my own. I had my glass and I was just partying on my own. I have been known to dance on the bar and on stages and be that person back in the before times. That's what we're going to call them now. In the before times, I miss that. I miss going places, but I already, you know, am a person that had anxiety to begin with. So this whole Miss Covida running around here, and then now you add to that the damn monkeypox. I'm afraid to go anywhere. My anxiety level is up here. So I mean, it's going to be a long day, a long time before I go out into a packed place. Although that place wasn't very packed, so they were fortunate that was kind of empty in there. But still, point being, VaLentine knows how to get popping. And I feel him on that. But the thing is, he also has to recognize what Carlos is telling him about his safety. I know he doesn't want to acknowledge that because it would, you know, he's, like you said, he's been out of the closet for a long time and he's not going back in. And from his point of view, he was thinking that Carlos is trying to dull his shine. But I think Carlos is really being honest when he's talking about safety issues. Like, in his country, you can be gay, but don't be too gay. And it's hard for a lot of people in certain areas of America to understand that, but it's even worse in Jamaica. Like, people are literally not safe as queer people in Jamaica, and it's real messed up. But it's better to be safe than sorry. But I do understand both perspectives. I understand the perspective from a Gen X person, because as you get into your 40s, you really do have a lot more fuck it in you, and it's hard for anyone to tell you to not be who you are, because at that point in your life, you're pretty much who you're going to be, as opposed to when you're in your 20s and you're still developing who you're going to be. You're still becoming who you're going to be. But they just need to talk things out a little bit more. And I think that VaLentine does need to listen to Carlos when what he's saying in his country. He knows his area. Trust him when he's telling you something. I don't think he's trying to dim your shine, because I think he likes that about you. I think he likes your shine. And I think if you went to LA and he still acted the same way, then you could say that. But in this situation, I don't think that that's the case. So hopefully that happens. I hope Carlos does get to come to LA, onto your stomping grounds, and get to see things from your perspective as well. All right. Did I have anything else? I have any notes about that? Oh, their discussion later, which again, Carlos is noting his safety concerns. And there's something I wrote that VaLentine said. He points out how everyone had fun, which is what I thought. But Carlos said that his cousin actually felt uncomfortable. And of course, that's his family. He's going to know, how his family feels, even if he's trying to be a good sport about stuff. Also, did VaLentine ask if his cousin had a significant other? Because maybe that could be a thing too. If he has a partner, then he might not want to have the bartender grind up on him on television and upset his partner. So that's a consideration. But VaLentine also said that Carlos might be projecting his insecurities and fears onto the situation, which is a valid point. But at the same time, like I said, it's a different country, and you got to understand the culture that's happening at this particular time. So I think he should trust what Carlos is saying to him for their safety, because that's my most the thing that I'm most concerned about. I want everybody to be safe. Oh, there was something when Val said he came out of the closet a long time ago and he's not going back in. It reminded me of something. I'm going to show y'all this right quick, what it reminded me of. Let me close this. See if I can find it. I think I saved this movie clip because it's one of my favorite movie clips of all time. There it is. Let me share my screen of what that reminded me of when VaLentine said he came out of the closet a long time ago and he wasn't going back in.
Okay, Sebastian.
I came out of the closet centuries ago.
Very music. Go on, help me.
I'm sorry, but that's how my mind works. All right, Tony Man says, oh, wait. It's just the old adage, when in Rome. Yes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. All right, let me get back into... There we go. Oh, I forgot about that bathroom sign. I meant to mention that. Even though they were saying that, you know, it's more conservative there, I got a kick out of this bathroom sign that says men only. And then it's got the little traffic stop figures doing different things in the bathroom. And also on Twitter, Carlos shared a picture that they took that night. And it's Carlos, VaLentine, and his cousin, Haner. So you can see they had a pretty good time. I like that they did this. This is really nice. So let's get into Frankie. And this should have been our first indication that there was trouble in paradise. The fact that Frankie is pictured here by himself. And then they had Abby and Gaby pictured by themselves instead of them all pictured together. Have they been doing that this whole time or nah? I don't remember that being a thing. But it could have been. It could be that it's just now that I'm noticing this. So he goes to call up, well, he's packing his suitcase to go to Mexico. And mid-packing, he calls up Abby. And you see how it says, hey, what's poppin'? Why did somebody on Twitter say your shirt, bro? I wish I would have screen captured that so I could find that tweet. I would have shared it here. But when they said your shirt, bro, I was dying. That ain't right. So anyways, he's talking to Abby, and Gaby is in the back painting. And so, you know, they're saying hello. And Abby is telling him that he needs to practice his Spanish so that he'll be able to communicate with Gaby, because Gaby doesn't speak English, but Abby does. And he tells us about being nervous to go to Mexico. Then later on in the program, he texts Abby. This is after they have traveled from Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta, and he texts them at the hotel telling them he's not going to come. And this is, of course, Abby saying that he's probably scared of telling Gaby, which I think he is too. I think he punked out. He completely punked out and didn't show up. So she is visibly upset, like she is shooketh. She's dropping her phone. Her hands are a little bit shaky. She is really, really upset. And so she has to go outside and tell Gaby that old boy is not showing up. And of course, you know, Gaby's completely confused because she is in the dark about what's going on between him and Abby, because they've both put her in the dark. when she sees these episodes, I know she's going to be some kind of upset. But I also noticed in her talking heads, like when she's at the beach, she pulls her locks forward and puts them in this updo, which is kind of cool. And then in her talking heads, her locks are only in the back, and then her hair is just loose in the front. It's a very interesting hairstyle. But she's completely confused about what's going on because they've kept her in the dark about everything. And we do see in the at the end of the program, in the like advertisements, that Frankie's friend and I don't know if that's his girlfriend, his wife, might be his wife, are going to tell her that Frankie's more in love with Abby than Gaby. And then we'll see how that progresses not next week, this Friday. Do I have anything else on them? No, that's it. That was really, really short. That's all they did there. So we'll get into Ariana and Sherlon. And I still don't believe Sherlon's 35. This is a 50-year-old if he's a day. I just don't. That's a hard-looking 35. I don't think he's telling his real age. But that's just me. He picks them up from the airport, which we saw in the last episode, and he's taking them to his house, which I think is a kind of a cute house. I like how there's this bridge that goes from, I guess maybe the parking area to the house. And then I like this area here, this porch. I think that's pretty. But he has prepared for their arrival. He's gotten a little air conditioner. And thanks to the lady at the children's store, he got Odin this little baby bouncer that he enjoys. And the lady in the store said that he needed stimulation. And I think she's right, because look at the baby. He looks so happy playing with that. Tommy says, I love how the producers had them on a boat in the ocean to break the bad news. Yeah, it was giving me that time on Cheaters when Joey Greco was on the boat and he ended up getting stabbed. I'm only laughing because he was okay. He came out okay. He wasn't, mortally injured or anything. So that's the only reason why it's funny. Wouldn't be funny if he passed away that way. But Joey Greco did a Cheaters episode on a boat and he ends up getting stabbed and falling off the boat. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but yeah. This situation could turn volatile considering the deception at play. What else? Sherlon changes the baby's diaper, and Ari is she's just a fountain of Maury Povich sayings. She's telling him, or she's telling us, that she hopes that he steps it up, and other euphemisms that baby's mamas use on talk shows. It's like everything that she says is like something that a baby's mama says on a talk show. And I wonder, does she know that she is a stereotype? She is a walking, living, breathing baby mama stereotype. I don't think she knows that yet, but she literally is just one step away from Maury Povich and Jerry Springer. I guess that's it. Damn, this was short. Not much happened this episode. I guess it's kind of a filler episode. Y'all have any comments? Because this was like super duper short. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes, and I guess I could talk about some of the other drama that's going on. I don't know. I was gonna do a separate video because there's a bunch of drama going on with Paul and Karine, and then there's info that has come out about what's his name, Bilal. Chris says she's into the image of being a baby mama. Yeah. It seems like she wants people to feel sorry for her. And she says things that aren't true, like saying that, oh, I'm doing it on my own. No, you're not. Your mother literally said that she left retirement and went back to work to support you and your child. That's not doing it on your own. She wants people to feel sorry for her for a predicament she put herself into. Get out of here. Tommy says, who's your favorite couple the most real to you? The most real to me, or the most likely to make it despite their sexual incompatibility, would be Carlos and VaLentine. I think that they are the most likely because they have more of a basis for the relationship than anyone else. With Sherlon and Ariana, that was like basically a one night stand that Aryann is trying to turn into a relationship. With Danielle and Yohan, she's treating him like a sex toy. He's treating her like a meal ticket. With Amber and Daniel, who weren't really featured on this episode, same thing. Amber does not respect Daniel as a man, and she treats him like an object, a toy, a person who is not her equal. And it's giving a little bit of what would I call it? It's subconscious racism on her part, in my opinion. I think that she has a subconscious bias, and it affects how she treats Daniel. Who am I missing couple wise that I didn't speak about? I feel like I'm missing somebody. I'm gonna cycle through the photos just to make sure. Let me see here. Yeah, I think it's everybody for this season. Yeah. Toman says he's here for the Bilal hate. Well, I will say this. They've been digging into his stuff on both Reddit and Lipstick Alley, like I said they would. I said somebody's going to look up his stuff, and they found, when you own property, that your name is listed on a registry for deed holders if you hold a deed to your property. Part of the reason why that is so that people can find you should something happen on your property. Like, for example, if somebody is slips on ice in your driveway and breaks their leg, they can sue you or your insurance company. And in order for them to get your information, if you don't have your name on the mailbox, they can look up the street address, and the owner of the property's name will come up on the county records. And so people looked up Bilal's name to see what houses were listed on the particular county property records in the state, and the house that is featured on the show is not on those records. Do I have enough time to pull that up? I probably have enough time. Hold on. Let me stop sharing, and I could pull that up. Because I took a screen capture because I'm nosy like that. Okay, let's share screen again. Okay, this says here, this person, I think this was posted on Lipstick Alley, if I'm not mistaken. It says, now we know his sister/mother is overly involved, and he's orderly and into looking a certain way. She could have helped to decorate this house, but there's zero evidence I could find that he owns it. I'm not going to put all this man's info online, though it took me 5 minutes to find it. His full name is in this article, so I ain't psycho for knowing it, LOL. The below is the only thing that popped up with his name. Just left the first digit of the address and city so y'all can see it matches the Google Maps image. And so they, pulled up the Jackson County, Missouri, and it has the Kansas City address, which is blacked out, because it wouldn't be right to put the person's address out there. That's literally doxing someone. And then the house that does belong to him, that is this address, is, there it is. Is this. It says, this is the house that he's trying to protect from gold diggers, LOL. So this is the actual house that is listed as his property, rather than the one that's presented to us on the show. Which, if he wasn't the type of jackass that he is, I would get that, because if I ever went on reality television, I wouldn't show my real address either. But the way he's trying to present this image, it's really flawed. Chris says, not surprising, his whole image is manufactured for Instagram, it seems. Oh, yeah. Oh, you should have seen. I didn't think I took a screen capture of that. There's a picture of him. Somebody posted on Twitter where it's a selfie where he's sitting in a plane trying to look really pensive. And he's sitting like this. But you know, his other arm is outstretched like this to take the selfie of him sitting looking like this, thinking. Like, it's everything about him is so fake and flawed. It's just ridiculous. Also, he and Shaeeda were spotted in New York not too long ago. I'm guessing this is because they're probably going to film the tell all this week. So that's probably why they're spotted there. But I hope this was taken from a distance and they just zoomed in, because I don't think it's right to be up in people's faces like this, taking their picture. Let people live. Even though they're on reality TV, still, like, keep your distance. Don't be in people's like personal space like this. It's kind of weird. It's a little stalkery. Then the other bit of stuff that's going down on 90 Day this past weekend was this. This child coming up on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And this is Pierre Stahl. Pierre is the son of Paul and Karine. And Paul is also came up on this list as a missing person in America, which is wild. What's being said is that the children were taken into DCF custody or foster care, because the courts determined that neither Paul nor Karine were suitable parents at this time, and also that Paul's parents were not suitable because of their age. They're very elderly, and they literally cannot chase around after toddlers and an infant. Paul put this on his Instagram. It says, if two parents have their kids taken, the grandparents or the relatives should be allowed to have temporary custody. To ban the grandparents from the children as well as natural parents is very sad. But the thing is, it's within reason. If your parents are too elderly to take care of those children, then it is what it is. That's not, they're not in the right physical condition. TMZ is reporting on this. They report that he denies that his son and Pierre are missing and that they're heading back from a trip. And someone posted on, not Instagram, Twitter, all of his prior mugshots, because Paul is an ex-con. I believe the last time he was in prison was for arson. And they said that he tried to burn down his own property and collect the insurance on it. And then I am not familiar with this Instagram page, so take it with a grain of salt. This is all, oh, where's my banner? Put this banner up. Because I don't know. This is what this particular Instagram page is saying. I have no proof that this is real or true, but the page says Pierre is confirmed safe with Mary Stahl, which would be Paul's mother, and her husband in Kentucky. They had to drive 8 hours to pick him up while Paul remains out of the state because he's afraid. The police and CPS have been properly notified and will be checking on Pierre. More to follow. If Paul took Pierre out of state, I believe that's another charge for taking this child across state lines. Chris says, no way. And Tonyman says, hopefully you put some shine and respect on John on your 90-day review tomorrow. Yeah, John was on one, but I appreciate his canter. He's entertaining. Chris says, those two aren't mentally grown enough for their relationship, let alone raising kids. I agree. They both function at, I will say, a developmentally delayed manner. They're more very like early teenager, like 12 and 13-year-old ish. That's what the sense that I get from them. Yeah, even In Touch Weekly is talking about, says Paul is set to appear in family court versus his estranged wife, Karine Stahl. I hope that's how you pronounce his name, Stahl. Find out what happens here. And that is from July 3rd. Star Magazine reporting it. Yeah. Kiki and Kibitz. Oh, the last thing I forgot to mention. Paul called up. I don't know if you know this channel, but it's an excellent channel. It's called Auntie's Advice. Paul called up Auntie's Advice, and she told him to turn himself in. And then I think she ended up also calling the authorities, which is what one should do if you know there's a missing child alert. So shout out to Auntie's Advice for that. But yeah, let me get out of here. I'll get more into detail with this tomorrow once I get things more organized. But I just wanted y'all to know there was some different things going on in the rumor mill. I'll take that banner down. Tony Man says, sorry, I was liking your tweet. Didn't know it chimed like that. Oh, no, it's no problem. I should have put my phone on silent. Like I said, today's a kind of weird day for me. So I'm going to get myself together, a little bit more together. What was I going to say? I think that's it. I think that's it for today. Unless y'all have any more comments on those. And I will probably make like a couple shorts about both of those things, and then I will talk about it again tomorrow when I talk about the regular 90-Day Fiance. All right, take care. I will see y'all later.